Red Sox fans have longed to hear it. The Boston Red Sox are world champions. Game over, series over, and the Red Sox are world champs again. And so are these fans. It hasn't happened at Fenway Park for 95 years. The Red Sox are world champions.
Boston organization has been well run for a long time now. From the top on down, here comes a 1-2 pitch. Red Sox win the World Series. 5-1 the final tonight. And the best team in baseball wins it all in 2018.
The Red Sox have won the World Championship. The Boston Red Sox beat the Los Angeles Dodgers 5-1. They win the World Series 4-1. And the Red Sox become the first team in the 21st century with 4 World Championships. Can you believe it?
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Pesky Podcast. We are here, episode 23, and I am here with our good friend, George Sutherland. I am the Rit. George, what's going on? How you been doing?
Doing well. A little busy. I got family stuff going on, but doing really well.
Man, the Red Sox are doing a little bit better now. We got great news. Finally, after a little over a third of the season, they finally realized that Kike Hernandez is not a shortstop.
Yeah. We talked about this, last week, and as I said, they said they weren't going to play him at short, and I heard that on the radio broadcast when I was coming back from Boston. I think last night kind of cinched the deal. Let the first run in. He played, pretty well in New York, but then it's like he regressed, and I think between him and Casas last night, I think that was the end. I think that that they have to stop paying attention to defense now. So he's going to play, I guess, a lot more second base and a lot more center field. But yeah, no more shortstop. It's as I said, he always makes it on the throw. He seems to be able to get to the ball, okay, but the throw just he tries to do too much with it, or he sails it, or he just doesn't think when he throws. He can make the play, but sometimes you got to eat it, and he doesn't even do that sometimes. So this is actually very good news.
Yeah, we could finally have Reyes there at shortstop until possibly Yu Chang comes back. I heard that there's absolutely no timetable whatsoever for Mondesi at all.
Yeah, I heard the same. So that means that he's basically out of the equation. And short of, no pun intended, shorter than making a deal for a shortstop, they're going to ride. They're going to ride with Story, which, as I'm not a real big fan of that one. So unless they can come up with a shortstop that can do it, this is what they're going to go with. So, we'll see what happens.
Are you comfortable defensively only? Putting Justin Turner at first and Reyes at shortstop.
I'm okay with Turner at first. He's a veteran. He knows what's expected of him. He's done a pretty good job over there. He's not going to be a Gold Glover over there, but he's a veteran. He played on the other side of the diamond. He knows what's expected of him. I don't think he does what Casas did last night. Okay, he's what, 30? What did we say last week? 36 years old. Mm-hmm. He's not going to be fleet of foot, but I think he'll make the plays he needs to make. And right now, he's the better option defensively, I think, for the Sox at this point.
Yeah, and it also gives you some flexibility at the DH spot. You know,
Mhm.
with Duvall back, you know, you can plug and
Yep.
play him at DH in the outfield. Uh, you know, if you want him playing the outfield, maybe sit there and have Jaron Duran DH.
Mhm.
You know, Casas can DH.
Moss
You
has
know,
done it. You know, just
Moss,
give everybody a chance to get a little bit of a break.
yeah.
You know, get off their feet.
Me personally, I kind of like the outfield of Verdugo, Duran, and Duvall.
Yes.
You know, I like that outfield.
That is a very good outfield. You know, and remember that Duval made his, you know, made his ability to be a good defensive outfielder playing the corner positions.
Yeah,
So you know he's out of position a little bit in center field, but you know what? He's handled it really well. And if you needed to move him, for example, to left field, I think he'd be all right. I'm not sure that they want to do it in Fenway Park, but certainly on the road, he could spell Verdugo in right, or you know Massa or Duran in left. So you know, yeah, he's a very nice problem to have, and it looks like he's starting to pick it up a little bit at the plate. So, and they certainly
yeah,
use him as a pinch runner too. So that's good.
exactly. Yeah, and you think about it, we have technically we have 5 outfielders because Kike can plug and play it and set in
Mhm.
center field, and he does great in center field for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, so we have 5 outfielders, potentially. Our middle infield, I'd be happy with Kike at second and Reyes, or Arroyo at second
Mhm.
and with Reyes. It's just we had to get Kike out of that shortstop spot, and after last night, it seems to me Alex Cora is finally getting some control over his team. You know, he sat Verdugo last
Mhm.
week for not running out, which that kind of upsets me and bothers me because okay, you want to make an example out of him for not running that out, but then you have Devers not running out every ground ball to first.
Yeah. Although, Devers has a little bit of a history of that. You know, going back since he got here. Um, the Verdugo thing, he's been on Verdugo since before spring training. Trying to get the most out of the guy, and to date he's done a pretty good job. I think he just doesn't want him to let up. I think he can be faulted for letting the Kike situation go along as far as it did. He loves the kid. He's trying to do what's right, but boy, you get 14 errors in 66, 67 games.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's something radically wrong there. So,
So now let's do a little Red Sox Yankees recap. We took 2 out of 3.
we did. You
Uh,
saw how I was all excited about that.
oh yeah, we took 2 out of 3 against the Yankees. Once again, Devers owned Garrett Cole, and
That's amazing.
what was it? He was the fastest to hit, or he hit the most home runs since what, Ted Williams,
Ted Williams, yeah,
before age 27.
exactly.
You
Yeah,
know, at Yankee Stadium. That's crazy.
he his eyes must light up. When he looks at the pitching matchups, especially in New York, going, my buddy's up on my buddy's on the mound today. Great. And I hate to think, what Cole is thinking of when he knows the Sox are coming into town.
Yeah.
But he's like he's that guy, he's that pitcher that every player would like to have up every at bat he has, because he knows he can take him deep, or he knows he can do wonderful things off of him. So yeah, it was fun. And of course he got him for double too in the same game, so that was
Yeah.
even better.
But yeah, the Yankees, we gave Cole his first loss. He's now
Yep.
7-1. That was really good. Our pitching really came around and showed us what a starting pitching rotation could look like. Whitlock did really good. Houck did really well. And then Bayo on Sunday. If it wasn't for that second base catastrophe when
Right.
the ball hitting off it, man, we could have swept them. You know what I mean?
The three young pitchers on the staff, and I'll group them. I'll group them. You've got, the big maple up now, who's now the lead stud. But you got Houck, Whitlock, and Bayo, and we'll talk about Cutter Crawford later. Those three guys have suddenly matured, and the pressure of playing in Yankee Stadium didn't seem to bother them. Of course, Whitlock got released got Rule 5 by the Yankees, right? So he's going to go in there and say, this is what you're missing. Houck played well, gave up a couple of home runs. That seems to be the thing that gets him in the most trouble. And Bayo, that was, every time I watch him, I'm going, you know what? In another year, he could very well be the lead dog in the pack.
The one comparison, and I'm not a big person for comparisons at all, but I loved it how they sit there and said Bayo is the first homegrown pitching prospect from the Red Sox since Papelbon and Lester.
Yep.
Like, I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, wow, we really haven't had a homegrown pitching prospect come up and be dominant like they did, and like Bayo's doing, since Lester.
Yes, and that was not lost on me at all. Although when old friend Daniel Bard stepped in last night, I kind of brought a smile to my face because, I saw him play up here in Portland, and, until he kind of lost it, he, throwing 100 miles an hour and all the rest, but for a sustainable career, Bayo was the first one probably since Lester.
Yeah.
In terms of as a starter. Papelbon came up as a starter, but he moved to the bullpen. But yeah, I mean, you can see, and I can see the big change from last year when he, over the winter he worked with Pedro. And he's got a similar pitch mix and things like that. That didn't hurt him at all. And then I kudos to Pedro for saying, hey, I see something in this young man, and I'm gonna try to help him if I can. So.
Well, DC just texted, and Devers just stopped by the pesky pole, home run, 500-foot blast.
Yeah, excellent.
That's crazy.
Gotta love that.
And just to think, this weekend when we play the Yankees again, Devers gets to meet Cole one more time.
I can hear Mr. Cole's stomach churn.
So, but yeah, man, but I always loved how the Red Sox organization, their veterans, take a kind of a liking. Like Ortiz kind of took Devers under his wing. Pedroia worked with Jarren Duran this offseason. Bayo got to work with Pedro. It's like, man, these guys have Hall of Famers coaching them and teaching them, and I love seeing that there in Boston.
Well, I'll add one more to that list, and Connor Wong. He had started to show he was a good defensive backstop when he played in the minors. He comes here. He's got Varitek in his ear now, and he can learn from the master. And I think that it's helped his game tremendously. And he was a good defensive catcher to begin with. He's starting to add on some offense. So, you saw it tonight. I in the beginning, a couple of pass balls, Um, so, when he's not in the lineup, it shows because his defensive prowess is very good, and I think he's been a good student for Veritek. So.
Oh, definitely. Let's bounce over a little bit. The All-Star game's coming up here in July, and George, what are your thoughts on the fans kind of Devers as of today was in third place. Massa was in 8th.
Yeah.
And Connor Wong, Verdugo have no mentions whatsoever.
I really don't understand. I think the fan base is so caught up in the day to day that they've missed some of the individual accomplishments of these guys. And Verdugo, yeah, he belongs in the All Star game. He absolutely does. Yoshida, yeah, I mean is he still in the second in batting? He was, in the league. It was funny to hear him talking. I don't want rookie of the year. I was a rookie in Japan once. I understand I'm a rookie here, but I'm not really a rookie player.
Mm-hmm.
And Connor Wong, you look at how many runners he's thrown out and how much he controls the game. I think it would be nice if the kid could make it. Obviously Ashley Roshman's going to, take that, going away. But really, yeah, I think the fan base has fallen asleep on it. I think they're so miffed at what's going on in the field that they don't think, well, if they were winning, I think you'd probably see a whole lot more votes for for some of the guys. But I think they're just there's benign indifference to the whole thing.
Do you sit there and think that it's more of a popularity contest than it is how well you're doing? Because there is no way that Massa should not make the All-Star game right now. He's either second, third, or fourth in all categories for rookies this year. Like, I sit there and said at the beginning of the season, I think it was episode 1 or episode 2, I told DC straight up, I said, the AL Rookie of the Year is coming from us. Like, it has to. Casas is stepped back a lot, but Massa is just tearing it up overall. Not only just with the rookies, but overall against the whole American League.
Yeah, since he opened up his stance, after working with the hitting coach. I mean, he's hitting it everywhere. I mean, not so much for power lately, but he's spraying the ball over the field. 2 hits here, 3 hits there. He was starting to get up in the 320s. He's come back to earth a little bit, but still, I mean, he's still hitting over 300. And yeah, he's definitely the Rookie of the Year class. But don't lose sight of the fact that he's a very good ball player, and his defense is better than a lot of people argued. You saw people, when the Red Sox made the deal, saying, "Oh, he's really a 4th outfielder. He's not really great." Wrong. He's a major contributor, and on some nights he's your only contributor.
Yeah. So I'm just not a big fan overall of the popularity vote, and it seems to be like that across all sports. If you're popular, you get on the team regardless. I understand every team has to have one representative. I kind of feel bad who the one person from Oakland's going to be.
I think we should start a pool to see who's the lucky guy.
But no, there's some really good cases for the Verdugos.
Yep.
Connor for Wong. Devers and Massa. Devers is slumping, but he still leads the team in home runs.
Mm-hmm.
So, but let's talk a little bit about Colorado. I seen them on the schedule, and I was like, okay, this should be an easy 2 out of 3. An easy 2 out of 3. We had Seabold.
Yeah, go figure.
And like we were hitting him, we just couldn't score no runs.
Right.
We had so many people left on base last night. We lost 4-3, in extra innings. We should have
Yep.
never went to extra innings. Never.
No, no. I I don't know. It seems like the Red Sox are falling. They're a little guilty of playing to the level of their opponent. Okay, Colorado had just come off, a walk-off win in Colorado against the Padres, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they were feeling good about themselves as they traveled east. But the Red Sox really are playing to the level of their opponents, and it shows. I mean, there was a game right that was handed to them. You got Paxton out there throwing darts, and and I don't blame Pavetta for what happened because he got squeezed. I mean, when AC went to take him out, he gave the home plate umpire, more than just a couple of words. He gave him death stare. And you looked at the pitch, you look at the pitch frame, and it's like, what are you looking at, Blue? He walked, and I think that was a contributing factor. But yeah, that was a game we definitely should not have lost. Especially we went ahead on a Royals blast, right? And like, yeah, okay, good for him because he'd been he'd been a little slow on the comeback, and then he puts one on the screen, and you go, yep, good, okay.
Yeah, yesterday Arroyo, not only with the home run, he stretched out and with his gloves too, looked really good doing that. One thing I do want to sit there and talk to George about is, you said about with Pavetta and the umps not making a good strike zone, like, and making competent calls. In all actuality, it was our own fault. We had so many scoring opportunities.
Right.
Those calls should have never even been to come into play. I don't know how many people we actually left on base last night.
I can tell you.
But man, we had six left on base last night.
Yeah, 6 last night. Yeah.
We had with 2 errors.
Right.
Like, but it's horrible. And for Paxton to go out there and pitch 6 scoreless innings.
Yep.
With 8 strikeouts. Man, right now I'm just looking at it overall as, come trade deadline, are we just going to sit there and maybe give up and just trade Paxton because we don't think we're going to be in it? Because right now Paxton would be a nice, you look at on most rosters in a rotation, he's a good 4, 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, it was a much different look. They were riding high. They've got to turn it around. I mean, they've got 6 weeks to the trading deadline. I think that if they can get the offense moving a little bit, I think that if they can play a little bit better on the defensive side, you might see a different ball club. But if they suddenly start, being no better than a 500 club and don't even show any signs of that or worse, then yeah, Paxton's probably the first guy to go. He's on short money, so that he'd bring you something. Okay, there's some contender that's going to want him and want him badly. I can see the Dodgers, the Padres, wanting to go after him as well. Depending upon where Milwaukee is, they could do it. Cleveland. Cleveland gets in it. And he pitched well for Francona, I think. Francona's that kind of manager you thrive into. But yeah, I mean, it's very possible if the Red Sox become sellers, not just him. So.
Yeah, it shows like how disappointing with highs and lows a team can be. You know, from day to day. What was it? We in April we were on a 7-game winning streak.
It was 7 or 8, yeah.
Yeah, and you know we were on the high of highs. You know, we weren't leading our division, but we were the 4th best team in baseball.
Right.
And here we are a month and a half later, and we're a 500 ball club again, and our bats aren't producing. Our starting pitching's producing now, but our defense is horrible. Like we talked last week that how many times over and over again we need to get back to playing fundamental baseball. And hopefully with Kike not being at short no more, Justin Turner playing a little more first base, that maybe we can get back to playing fundamental baseball, and just defense is where we need. If we can stop the runs, we can score the runs to get us ahead.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and come out early and do something. Okay, because they had the bases loaded in the first inning yesterday, and nothing happened. That's inexcusable, especially against a team like Colorado. But yeah, they got to play better defense. I mean, you can't give it away. It's one thing if somebody gets out and hits one out of the park. All right, that happens in baseball. But when you throw the ball around, or you don't, make a mental error, those are the things that get you. And unfortunately, the Sox are in the wrong kind of a streak where the mental errors and the physical errors are killing them.
Mm-hmm.
And they can be hidden if your offense is flying, but in this case, the offense is not flying, so they become magnified. As I said, like when in the Tampa series, when the Sox, got 6 runs in the inning, and then went on to beat the Rays, everybody forgot about the errors by Kike, because he could have very well been the GOAT of that game.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I mean, when they're being exposed, and they've got to turn it around. They got to start clicking on all cylinders, because if not, that this could very well go into a streak like they had last late spring, early summer, where they, after doing well in May, they just tanked. So
exactly,
and it's a shame because they're getting good pitching.
Yeah, and we're wasting those big games by Bayo, those big games by Paxton.
Yep.
Whitlock. We're just wasting them. So, what I think haven't done in quite some time on Sunday Night Baseball. What did you think of the first 4 batters, all lefties?
I'm an old guy. You got to split it up. Because that kind of lineup just it begs for 4 quick outs, and that's why you want to divide it up. But we know this team is left heavy. It's it was constructed that way. Duvall being back is going to help that a lot. But they gotta mix it up and insert it at the at the right place and get the production. But yeah, 4 lefties in a row. Must be it's part of the modern game, I guess.
Yeah, I was a little surprised seeing 4 lefties all in a row. But Jarren Duran, he's got some wheels on him, so I kind of liked him being in the leadoff spot. It gave Verdugo a little bit. If he showed as much patience in the 2 spot as he does in the 1 spot, that could get him a couple more balls to look at. Mm-hmm. Massa, I think him and JT both put up some long at bats in the Yankee series. I think JT had two at bats. He had 10 or 11 balls per.
Yeah, he had 2 double digit at bats, and that's great.
Yeah, because that sits there and wears down the pitching and gets you to that bullpen quicker. And man, the Red Sox they wanted that. What did you think about Kenley getting both saves?
Mhm.
And do you think we're finally got the Kenley that we're all okay? Kenley's coming in. We got this one in the bag, or do you still get those butterflies in your stomach? With seeing Kenley, oh man, is he gonna blow it this time?
No, no, I'm fully confident in him. Um, that situation that kind of got with the Cardinals, um, aberration, and they were gaming him anyway. And MLB stepped up to stop that. No, I have I see him warm up another bullpen. I'm like, I feel confident, and that's a confidence I haven't had at the end of the pen, in probably since 2020. Certainly 2019. But you have a closer, use him, and he's done well. Hey, listen, I'm good with it. I feel I'm glad that he's at the end of the pen, and Martin's right before him. This is where they miss Schreiber. I mean, if Schreiber was around, this is where they miss him, because he'd be that that other stone wall out there that would help you, and you wouldn't be having to mix and match it as much as you do.
Yeah, man, Sunday night, Jensen came in and got the win. Martin got the save. It was kind of a little, reverse role, but it looked good though.
Yeah, and it shows you that it can be done. And both guys aren't, they were very much supportive of each other, and it's a great problem to have, because there will be times when Kenley's going to maybe not be up to snuff, and if Martin has to do a couple of games and be a closer, that's fine. He throws strikes. He doesn't really walk. He's not known for walking people, so I think it's a very good problem to have.
So last night we had an MLB debut of somebody that kind of like blew through our minor leagues a little bit. Joe Jocks, a left-handed reliever out of the bullpen. What were your thoughts on that?
I actually was tied up when he was pitching. I was not watching him, which I apologize for, but I was in the middle of something. I think it's good that they've been able to develop left-handed bullpen help. Because usually you're out trying to pick the scrap heap to try to get some. I hope he does well. I mean, he's risen through the system. He seems to be able to pitch well. I haven't seen him. I think he's in the game tonight, isn't he? He's in. He's already gone an inning, but he hasn't allowed any. No runs. So.
Yeah, he hasn't allowed anything yet in the inning he came in. Cutter Crawford tonight gave up 4 in 4 innings. That's not. We can't have that for Cutter Crawford. But then again, if you look at it, he is our 5. So
Cutter Crawford was on fire when they put him in the bullpen as a long guy. You got 2 to 3 innings. The long guy. Yeah. That's a role he's made for. He and Winkowski. That's a 2-headed monster right there. Unfortunately, this is the situation we're in with Sale being down. They feel Crawford's better at the putting him as your 5th starter, and Winkowski's been a little bit under the weather, so I heard. So yeah, this is it. Hopefully he can bounce out of it, but. This was the thing in the beginning of the season. He 2 or 3 innings, he'd be okay, and You get to the fourth, and that would be the end of that. Maybe Tanner Houck should take him aside and say, okay, here's how you get past the third inning. So
yeah. So, we're down 4-2 right now. So
yep.
I kind of want to sit there and but George, what are your thoughts on the rest of the series? Are we gonna sit there and go down win one game and lose two, or do you think we can come back this one?
They're only down 2 in the fifth. I feel reasonably confident that this is a game they can come back and win. And if they don't, they absolutely have to win tomorrow. Absolutely. At least going into New York, at least the New York series on a high note. So I think that they can. I think that they can do it. I'm not. I'm looking. I was catching up in the box here. I think this is kind of a make or break game in terms of to see what the bench can do and to see what happens when they get down. Jake seems to be, he stopped the burning. Let's see if that continues. But yeah, this is the offense. They've got to step it up. I mean, you can't go by with scoring 1 and 2 runs a game. And in both Yankee series, they scored 3 runs. The wins, right? Not in this day and age. 3 runs get you nothing. Unless you're pitching that's dominant. You got to score 4 or 5 runs, and that's at a minimum. So,
yeah, it seems to be that the season will be known as peaks and valleys. We're either scoring 8, 9, 10 runs, or we're scoring 1, 2 runs.
Right.
Let's sit there and talk a little bit about the upcoming weekend series. Yankees, Red Sox. We got Tanner Houck going on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Bayo going on Saturday. And Paxton going Sunday. So we have our 3 best pitchers.
Yep.
Going home at Fenway Park against the Yankees.
No, that's the way you want it. And for Houck and Bayo, it's the return engagement at home. So I'm extremely encouraged. That's the stars aligning right for the pitching staff to kind of repeat their performance from last week in the Bronx.
We got Kluber up in the pen. So I looks like they don't want to win the game.
I'm sure you saw my comment in my Sunday notes. He had nothing, and they exploited it badly. What was it? 2-3 weeks ago, we talked about DFAing him. I don't know what Heim's looking at. And I honestly thought that when he was getting pounded, that AC was sending a message to the upstairs going, he's done. He's cooked. Let's do the guy right. Maybe he ends up and he finds himself again, which happens. Veteran pitchers are tough, but talk about a guy you don't want to see in a game. No, thank you. I wouldn't want to. We could have 20-1, and I still wouldn't want to see him come in the game. Not at this point because he's got nothing.
No,
so.
He's just throwing whatever he has left in the tank, and it's not much. You know,
and he can't bring it anymore.
No,
and he's getting batting practice fastballs, and he's got no movement on his breaking stuff. It's like they're just teeing off on the poor guy, and it's sad to see because for a while he was a great pitcher, and he seemed to have rediscovered himself. The idea the young guys when you're younger they're throwers and they can get by with their fastball, and then as you get along you don't have that. maybe injury sets in, you become a pitcher. And he seemed to have discovered that, right? And that's kind of what I was hoping to see. But
No.
he's got nothing.
So weekend series. What are you thinking? Red Sox, Yankees.
Realistically, I can see them taking 2 out of 3. I really can. I think to do what they did in the Bronx at home is not unreasonable. It would be great if they could sweep all 3, but 2 out of 3 I can definitely see.
I'm also going to follow along with you. 2 out of 3. I just don't know what game that we could possibly lose. That's the tough one. We got Whitlock, Bayo, and Paxton.
Who does Cole match up against?
They don't have any of theirs up yet.
They don't have anything. Okay.
I was just counting out to where Cole would have to sit there and be. I'm thinking it'd be Cole and Bayo, but I might be wrong.
Yeah, that would be maybe a little bit advantage Cole, but by the way, Bayo's pitching, you never know. I mean, he's shown he's got it. So Red Sox need some home cooking offense and stop pounding the wall, stop putting balls in play.
Yeah. So, George, I want to sit there and thank you for stopping by, helping us out a little bit.
Oh, no problem.
Why don't you tell everybody where they can read your articles at and where they can contact you at?
Okay, so my Substack is pundittothepeskypole.substack.com, which if you go to the Pesky Podcast Linktree page is up there, and you can press the button there, and you can read everything I've wrote. You can contact me, my email, pundittothepeskypole@gmail.com, and of course I'm on Twitter at Thurland Systems. You can follow my explosion of thoughts occasionally, and that's where I am. And then so often I'm here as well. So that's where you can find me. And again, this is great. I'd be able to do it. It's really too bad DC couldn't join us tonight because he had so much, and as well as you, both of you. This is a great. You do a great job, and I'm just happy that I can join in from time to time.
Yeah, George. Hey, guys, if you guys didn't get a chance, head on over to his Substack. You can head up on our link tree and check out the latest article he did about the home run ball with Devin Marrero and Tomas and his father. Like, it was a great article. I loved how he pieced it all together. We're going to have plenty more of his stuff coming up. We're going to have plenty more interviews coming up. We just had last week, we had Narciso Crook.
Boy, baseball needs more guys like him. What a nice guy. Very down to earth. I listened to that podcast twice, and every time I learned a little bit more because you missed up. But yeah, baseball needs more guys like him. He's a great guy.
Yeah, we also have a few other guys that are going to be coming up for us to interview. We got Tyler Dearden, a Double-A outfielder for the Red Sox. We have Theo Dellinger, a Triple-A pitcher coming out. DC has Hunter Dobbins coming on.
Great.
Man, we're just going to be pumping these out over the next couple weeks. And, man, just sit there and I love being able to build all these relationships with these guys. And so that way when they do make it to the majors, we have that connection. We can bring them on, talk to them, how well they're doing in the majors. And, man, it's just great to make these connections overall with these guys and make friendships.
Yeah. Just a score update. Turner just singled in. Turner just singled in Reyes, but Verdugo got thrown out at the plate, so it's 4-3. So.
Oh, there we go. So, but guys, head on over to our YouTube page, subscribe, check us out, listen and watch all of our videos. I know not everybody goes on to Spotify, iTunes. Some people like to listen to it or watch it on YouTube TV, and that's great too. But, it's the Pesky Podcast. So search it up, hit us up, follow us. George, it was great sitting there and talking to you. Like we said, DC, wish he was able to come here, but he had other obligations he had to. So, but man, for George, I am the Rit. See you guys next time on the Pesky Podcast.